talk a little Saturday Santa Anita. It's a big weekend out there. They actually have a couple cool promotions. They're giving out $1 million pick six jackpot guarantee if anyone hits the single ticket pick six jackpot on Saturday, May 27th, or Sunday, May 28th. 20-cent rainbow pick six. Then on Monday, there's going to be the mandatory payout for the pick six jackpot Monday, May the 29th. Let's dive into a few of my plays for Saturday at Santa Anita. We're looking at the daily racing form, past performances, drf.com. And if you ever use the racing form, they have a big sale this weekend, up to 50% off past performances, picks, clocker reports. Think about what's coming up with Saratoga, with Del Mar. You're going to need help with those 2-year-olds, with those baby races. And then digital paper, that's actually just the racing form that gets emailed to you, and you get it in the exact order that the racing form comes out, with all the articles, with all the order of the races, everything you want there. We'll dive more into that sale at the end of this video. Let's talk about Saturday, Santa Anita, May the 27th. So as we move to the back part of the card, I normally do preview shows with my buddy Chappie over at Santa Anita and Seminar Skip. We do those on Friday nights to preview some of the Saturday races, and we usually look at like the stakes races in the back half of the card. So as I started looking through races 5 through 9, horse in this 5th race jumped out at me, Tropicana Girl, the number 2, who I think fits very, very well in here. And a lot of times in the past performances, when you see the Los Alamitos races, I think folks will dismiss those, thinking they're not very strong. These 1,000-yard quarter horse races, they come up very, very tough. You have nice horses in there. What's ended up happening recently, a lot of the barns from Southern California, Santa Anita-based barns, they will use these races when they don't have anywhere else for their horse to run, or even just as sort of like a training race to get a little bit more speed into horses. And Tropicana Girl comes out of some very live races over there at Los Al, facing some tough horses in good form. Look at Trouble in Paradise most recently, won wire to wire, and that one has won 2 of the last 3 and has been, 3 of the last 6. Just a sharp horse right now. You also have, prior to that, Tropicana Girl running into another really, really sharp horse. And you have El Diablo Rojo and Darn Quick, both of them in very nice form. El Diablo Rojo, a horse who you just see lots of really good efforts. Darn Quick comes out of this race to win next time out. Now, what I'm looking at with Tropicana Girl, last time she was at Santa Anita, going 6 furlongs, she won. This is a 5.5 furlong race, 12-5 claimers. She won at almost identical type spot. March the 17th, 6 furlongs against open 10 claimers. She ran really well that day, and the race has come back live. So you can pull up the chart with the formulator, past performances. That's the style of the past performances I'm using here. Look who she defeated this day. Bella Ranella, who came right back to win against 12-5 claimers, and Rain Diva, who came back to win the next start against $10,000 claimers. And you can actually look through the past performances and see that both Bella Ranella and Rain Diva are in the running lines for some of the other common rivals in here. So Vegan lost to Bella Ranella. So you're 7-2, but second, third choice, like a major player in this race, got beat by the horse that Tropicana Girl beat. How about the other one? Go to the outside. Rain Diva got the better of Drizella. So you're looking at these horses who have defeated some of the major rivals in this race. Here's Bella Ranella again, defeating Talkative Gal. And if you're able to just play Tropicana Girl, focus on the Santa Anita race, and know that these races here are not that bad when she ran into some sharp horses at Los Alamitos, I think it's a good spot for her. She has speed, but as we saw her do on March the 17th, she can sit off a little bit if she has to. And at 5.5, this will give her the opportunity to sit off a little bit and still maybe have some punch late. I like the 2, Tropicana Girl, 5-1 on the morning line. Anything like 7-2 plus, that's fair. And, the Lunatic's probably the horse to beat, who is now heading into the Peter Miller barn. So I'll use combinations of 2s and 7s, play the 2 if we can get anything around 7-2 plus to win there. Let's move to Race number 6. It's a first level allowance. Optional 50 going a mile on the dirt. You have Showtime, who's in pretty nice form right now for Richard Mandela. Flying Drummer, this horse we haven't seen since December of 2021, was very highly regarded at one point for Bob Baffert. They paid $850,000 for this one. And Katana's probably the horse to beat in here because you have a race like this where there's a lot of question marks. And you don't really know what to do with so many of these runners. You have, some horses from the inside stepping up. Showtime fits well. Phineas is always kind of an underneath horse. Flying Drummer, is this horse going to be ready? Is he the same type of horse off of that long of a layoff? And then you get to a horse like the 7, who's just solid. Really solid at this level, fits. He has some speed. He can sit off, though, and pass some horses if he has to. So I think he's in the mix all over. But the one that I really like is the 9, Divine Armor. And I know he's a horse who doesn't win often. But when you dive into his form, he really has faced some tough horses along the way. Back here, he ran into Ginobili and Laurel River back to back. We saw Laurel River, a very nice stretch of 3 wins in a row, including a graded stakes victory. And even just last year in April, he's in a race with Parnelli, and there goes Harvard. There goes Harvard, comes out of that race and wins 2 more in a row, including the Grade 1 Gold Cup. So then we'll dive into some of the recent form for Divine Armor. This is a horse who was off from July to May, showed back up in May on May the 7th. So first in July, pulling up the race right now to watch, Divine Armor, who's the number 6 in this race that we're watching. And it's a pretty good start for Divine Armor here. Remember, this was off the bench, so maybe a little bit fresh, but 3 other horses all wanted to go to the lead. So Divine Armor decides to take back a little bit and ends up sitting nicely in 4th, right behind a line of 3 horses on the front end. Looks like he's getting a perfect trip. Unfortunately, as the race starts to develop, he gets surrounded. On the outside, make an early move, and that's Lovesick Blues kind of making that early move on the outside. And then he gets caught right in between horses with absolutely nowhere to go. Kingdom Hearts kind of backing up right into Divine Armor, and Divine Armor's just stuck, just waiting. And he has to back out of a tight spot, angle to the outside, 4 wide, and all the way around. And the horse who wins the race got a smooth trip and was the horse that kind of pinned him in. And Divine Armor ends up finishing 2nd. After angling around, he really did try hard and came back again after the leader, who was geared down late. I thought it was a really good effort from Divine Armor in that one. He's 5-1 on the morning line. And if we can get anything in the 7-2-ish sort of range, I think that's very fair value for him. Second start off the bench, he's drawn well. He can sit a little. But in this race now, stretching back out, you would expect him to be even more forwardly placed than, in some of his races that we see, because I think that 6.5 race will sharpen him up a little bit. Divine Armor, horse to beat is the 7. I'll hook those 2 up when in a lot of the exotics there. 7th race is down the hill. It's the Grade 3 Daytona. Now, Fast Buck is the horse to catch. This is kind of pushing it about as far as he wants to go, but he really should be winging it. And if you notice, when he gets the lead and he clears, he's pretty tough to run down. When he doesn't get the lead, he really doesn't want to pass horses. That happened in March and in April. Look how fast they were going in some of those races. And particularly that April 9th race, he just couldn't get to the lead. They were flying. But this field doesn't have much other speed at all. The only concern is because it's such a short field, 5-2 just feels a little light for him. Like you'd want like 5-1 for him in this field, kind of trying to push it to 6.5. The outside horse could also be better this time around because Burning Turf, looking at his recent form overall, he was off from May to February, showed back up in February, and then didn't run well, and then came back in April. And in that race, it was fine. It's kind of in between horses. I think with the outside draw, they're going to get a little more aggressive and maybe just have him either on the lead or sit in second. Because I don't think he's as Fast Buck. So you let Fast Buck go, and then he could be right behind. But again, because the field is so short, 5-2 feels a little bit short in here. That's my biggest concern. This just didn't feel like a very playable race to me for that reason. I think if you're going to play the race, maybe the one at the value. We just saw Lovesick Blues in that last race. And watching the replay a few starts back with Divine Armor there. But Indian Peak, just from a value-based standpoint, would probably be the one I would look to. Indian Pete ran really well back-to-back races down the hill, but did get a nice inside move, and what makes Sammy run came rolling down the outside. But just from value, maybe the one. Don't really love this race from a betting standpoint all that much. We have the Grade 2 Triple Bend, which is race number 8. In the headliners in this one will be Forbidden Kingdom, who was your San Felipe, your San Vicente winner from 2022. And you'll also have Spirit of Machina, very, very nice horse, who is now a 5-year-old, but he's only raced 4 times, super lightly raced. He beat Forbidden Kingdom back on March 11th. Now, both Spirit of Machina and Forbidden Kingdom have had some minor foot issues since. That's why we have not seen them run back since March 11th. But they are the top 2 headliners in here. Forbidden Kingdom's the one to catch. I do have a hard time giving him the nod over Spirit of Machina when Spirit of Machina, Forbidden Kingdom, in similar circumstances on March 11th, sat just off him to the outside and won nicely. So the way I would look at this race, if you're trying to find some value here, I could actually see the 6 maybe getting caught up a little bit with Forbidden Kingdom and a horse from off the pace pouncing. The one that intrigues me the most is Positivity. So if you look at him, he went to Dubai last year. He raced there 3 times, and then we haven't seen him. We didn't see him from March of 2022 till April. Showed back up this year in April, a month ago, April 22nd. And actually, that race was not bad. It was in the Grade 3 Kona Gold. He was behind Brickyard Ride, who is a multiple graded stakes winner who's very, very fast. And the runner-up in that race, Anarchist, came back and won a graded stakes race up at Woodbine. So that was a good race, and that was his first start in over a year. His first start coming back from Dubai. He was kind of close up. He was 3 wide in between horses. He was just behind Brickyard Ride. Then he dropped back a little bit, and he did show some late energy. Now, can we get him back to where he was before Dubai? He's still a 5-year-old. Can he take another step or 2 forward? Because while some of these races may look a little bit light because they're Calbred races, keep in mind, Brickyard Ride is a horse who is very fast and is a multiple graded stakes winner against Open Company. Principe Carlo, the horse who won the Cary Grant. This is a horse who's multiple graded stakes placed against Open Company. He ran huge races in the San Carlos and the Triple Bend last year back-to-back. So I think Positivity is a tad sneaky. If he has some of that ability that he had before going to Dubai, maybe the figure was just a little light last time out. I'm giving him a shot here. Positivity. The number 3 is 15-1 on the morning line. And then we close out race number 9 on the turf course here. It's a mile turf course for maiden 50 claimers. The 1 is the horse to beat, Precocious Times. The 4, LT's Choice, a little bit interesting to me. You can see that this one's bred pretty well for the turf. Dam was unraced, but the Lone Sib did win on the turf. And then tried a couple stakes races after that. I would give a look to the 9 or the 7, excuse me, Paid in Gold, who we watched this race last time out. So we're going to be looking at the number 5 in the race that Paid in Gold just watched. And this was her first start on the turf. It was just her second career start. And she was right with the leaders. But she takes back to the inside. And you're going to see she ends up having to sit like fourth. So she's right there in between the 2, Soul of a Warrior, and the 7, Pretty Reina, but she takes back. So she's not right up battling with them. And then as she takes back, there's a horse to her outside, and she it was almost like she had a hard time once they took her back getting going again. So she's back to fourth. Then she's back to even farther, like fifth or so, about 5 lengths off. It looked like she was just done. I thought she was just going to be backing up, just kind of back up out of contention. Then all of a sudden, she kind of flips back into another gear, and she moves back into it. She's looking for room down on the inside. There's not a whole ton. She looks for room in between horses. There's not a whole ton. She's kind of shifting around, trying to find space. Then a little bit more space opens up, but she can't quite hit it. And she just sort of gradually keeps grinding. And I thought she ran pretty well. She loses a photo, head bob for second. I'm going to give Paid in Gold a big shot in here. She stretches out. I think they're going to be more forwardly placed with her in her second start on the grass, now going a mile. And I look at the rest of the race. It's just going to be the horses stretching out that you feel like will probably be winging it. I guess the 5 could be close up with the blinkers on. So horse who showed a little bit of positional speed last time out, and I'd imagine the blinkers on, they probably want to go. I could see Whirly Girly, just a little closer, but mainly Paid in Gold stretching out. Get this one really close to the front end. The number 7, Paid in Gold, 7-2 on the morning line. Maybe a horse who you build some late exotics around. Play a late, any type of late stuff where I have this one on top. Need around 3-1. I don't want to take too much less than that, but maybe a horse who you build around to close some exotics there on Saturday at Santa Anita. Don't forget, folks, that big sale this weekend, the daily racing form sale. It's Memorial Day sale, up to 50% off. This goes all the way through Monday. Now, we can take a look at the specifics in the details of this sale. So if you're someone who uses the daily racing form for past performances, this is you, because you can get 20% off on the classic or the formulator, the ones that we're looking at here, all the way up to 60 card plans. Save a bunch of money right now. You'll have all these credits, and then you just use them whenever you want them for, looking at and playing the races. If you like the Clocker reports, these will be very helpful during Del Mar and Saratoga. If you like the digital paper, so that's just the actual email printout of the form. They'll send you an email of exactly the order of the articles and everything in the daily racing form. And you can get the DRF Plus Pro plan. Everything you need right here. Take advantage of that big Memorial Day sale. Good luck this weekend playing the races at Santa